How's it going? I thought I would make this video to explain to you the Working with Real Estate Agents brochure. Something that North Carolina Real Estate Commission requires that I explain to you, that you read and initial and sign that you've read it. So either directly before or after this email, you should have another email which requests for you to read and initial the document. So what is the Working with Real Estate Agents brochure and what's it about? Well, keep in mind it's not a contract. So this is a little brochure which explains what it means to work with a real estate agent in North Carolina. So as a real estate agent, a big part of the brochure, although the term isn't used, a big part of the brochure is the fiduciary duties. So that can be understood with the acronym OLDCAR. So OLDCAR. And the O stands for obedience. So I am required, as your agent, if you choose to work with me, I'm required to essentially obey what you ask me to do. So if I have your home listed and you decide you want to remove the listing, it's my duty to comply and remove the listing from the MLS for you, or whatever that may be within reason. The L is for loyalty. So my duty as an agent is to be loyal to you and to put your interest above my own and put your interest above that of the other parties. So if, for example, you're seeking to buy a house and there's a way for me to help you get the home for a couple $1,000s lower, it's my duty to do that because I'm seeking your interest over that of the seller. Now, if I'm working for the seller, it's my duty to try and get a couple $1,000s more for the home. So this is what it means to be loyal in this in an agency relationship. The D stands for disclosure. So I'm required to disclose any important details to you that would be helpful for you to know in the transaction, in the buying or selling process. I'm also required by law to disclose any material facts. A material fact is anything that affects the market value or the marketability of the property. So for example, if I'm helping you sell your home and you tell me that the house has a leaky roof, well, I am then required by law to disclose that to any buyers and their agent, because that's something that would affect the market value or the marketability of the property. So keep that in mind. The C in the OLDCAR acronym stands for confidentiality. I'm required to keep anything you tell me outside of material facts confidential, that you want confidential. So for example, if you are a motivated seller and you're trying to sell your house and you are willing to take less, significantly less maybe, than the purchase price or the list price, then I need to keep that confidential and not let others know, so that we can try and help you get as much as possible. Or if you're a buyer and say maybe you're willing to pay more than what you offered, but you're trying to get the best deal possible, I need to keep that confidential to help you hopefully get this home for a good price. So that brings us to the A, and that's accounting. And that's something that Clockwork Realty Group doesn't do. A lot of real estate groups don't do this anymore, but some still do. And it basically means that the earnest money or any other funds would be held by Clockwork, or the agency group themselves. And this is something we just let the attorneys do. It's easier, less of a headache. So the final point is R, and that means reasonable care. So an agent is required to have reasonable skill and knowledge to help you in the home selling or buying process. So that summarizes what it means to work with an agent and what the agent's fiduciary duties are. So if you know that agents work with buyers and they work with sellers, but sometimes, you may be familiar with this, agents work with both buyers and sellers at the same time. This is called a dual agency agreement, and this is something that needs to be disclosed and agreed on by all parties. But say, for example, I'm helping person A sell their home, but I know person B is looking for a home just like that, and I bring them together. We've created a dual agency agreement, where I am helping both the seller and the buyer. And if either party chooses not to do that and they want someone who's someone to just represent themselves, that's fine. We can do that. It's not required to have a dual agency agreement in place. So It's important to remember whether you're a buyer or a seller, you will need an agency agreement, whether a buyer's agency agreement or a listing agreement. We'll need that signed, and that's a different conversation, unpacking all that's within those documents, and we can have that conversation if we get to that point. So with understanding agency agreement, remember that the agent, it's his duty or her duty to seek the best interest of whoever they're representing. So imagine yourself at an open house and you're a buyer and you love the home, and you start talking to the listing agent who's hosting the open house, and you start telling them, man, I love this house. It seems like a great price. I'm really anxious to get it. And I really need to buy this home because I'm moving and I just need to get out of my house right now. Well, you effectively told that information to the seller, and you haven't given yourself much power in negotiating anymore because they know you're crazy about the house and you're in a bind and you need to buy right now. So the listing agent, it's his or her duty to disclose everything you just told them to the seller. So remember, don't tell anything to the other agent that you wouldn't want the buyer or seller themselves to know. And likewise, don't tell anything to an agent that isn't representing you, anything that you wouldn't want the other party to know. So this is a run through of the Working with Real Estate Agents brochure. If you have any questions, please let me know. It's pretty straightforward. Again, it's not a contract or anything. By signing, you're just saying that you have received it. You basically now have a basic understanding of what it means to work with an agent in North Carolina. And like I said, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd love to try and answer those for you. Thank you.